Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a journey into the depths of the human soul. Tonight, we gather not just to hear words, but to experience a profound shift in awareness. Carl Jung, one of the most influential thinkers of our time, reminds us that within each of us lies an infinite well of wisdom and creativity, waiting to be discovered. This is not just a lecture, but an invitation to awaken to your own inner power. As you listen to these words, allow them to sink beyond the surface of your mind into the very core of your being. This is a moment of transformation, a chance to rise above fear, to release the patterns that hold you back, and to step boldly into the life you have always known was possible. Let us begin this sacred exploration together with open minds and open hearts, ready to see beyond the ordinary and embrace the extraordinary potential that lives within us. The world we observe is nothing more than the outpicturing of our consciousness. Everything you now see in your world was once merely an impression in your mind. This is the fundamental law that governs all creation. As within, so without is not merely an ancient philosophical concept, but the very mechanism by which all things come into being. Let me begin by telling you that you are already in possession of everything you desire. This may seem contradictory to your present experience, but I assure you it is the absolute truth. The reason why many of your desires seem delayed in manifestation is because you have been dwelling in a state of consciousness that does not align with their fulfillment. But now, as you listen to this message, a shift is occurring within you, a realignment of your inner state with the reality you wish to experience. The Bible, which I consider to be the greatest psychological book ever written, tells us in Ecclesiastes that there is nothing new under the sun. All that will be has already been. Your desires are not to be created. They already exist in what I call the fourth dimensional reality, the dimension of consciousness. Your task is not to create what you want, but to appropriate it through the assumption of the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Now, why is it finally happening for you? Because you have reached a crucial point in your spiritual journey where you are ready to let go of old concepts that have kept you bound. The primary concept that has restricted your manifestations is the belief in external causation. The idea that something outside of yourself determines your reality. Tonight, I invite you to completely abandon this belief. Nothing outside of your consciousness has any power over your life experience. When you truly understand this, your manifestations will accelerate at a pace that will astonish you. Your imagination is the very substance of creation. When you imagine a state and occupy it fully in your consciousness, that state must externalize in your world. This is not magic. It is law. It is as precise and reliable as mathematics. Just as 2 + t = 4, so must your conscious assumptions result in corresponding external conditions. Many of you have been practicing visualization techniques, affirmations, and various manifestation methods. While these are valuable tools, they are not the essence of manifestation. The essence lies in your ability to feel the reality of what you desire as if it were already accomplished. It is in this feeling, this emotional conviction, that the secret of manifestation resides. I often tell the story of a dear friend who desired a specific home but lacked the financial means to purchase it. Instead of focusing on the lack, he began to sleep each night in his imagination in that very home. He would feel the texture of the sheets in the master bedroom, hear the distant sounds of the neighborhood, and experience the satisfaction of ownership. Within 3 months, through a series of events that no one could have predicted, he was living in that exact home, not a similar home, the very same one he had imagined. This didn't happen by accident or coincidence. It happened because he understood that consciousness is the only reality, and by changing his consciousness, he changed his world. And now, my friends, this understanding is dawning on you as well. This is why it's finally happening for you. You see, for most of your life, you have been caught in what I call the law of reverse transformation. You have been looking at your current circumstances and allowing them to dictate your inner state. If your bank account was empty, you felt poor. If your body showed signs of illness, you felt sick. If your relationships were strained, you felt unloved. But the truth is exactly the opposite of what you have practiced. Your circumstances do not determine your consciousness. Your consciousness determines your circumstances. This message is awakening you to the truth that you must reverse the process. Instead of allowing the outer world to impress itself upon your consciousness, you must impress your consciousness upon the outer world. This is done through the art of assumption, assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Now let me explain further why many of past attempts at manifestation have been delayed or seemingly unsuccessful. The human mind is divided into 2 aspects, the conscious and the subconscious. Your conscious mind is what you actively think with the part that analyzes, judges, and makes decisions. Your subconscious mind is the deep sea of impressions that holds your beliefs, your habitual thoughts, and your emotional patterns. For manifestation to occur, your desire must sink from the conscious mind into the subconscious. As long as your desire remains merely a conscious wish, it will not manifest. It must become a subconscious conviction, and this is precisely what is happening for you now. Your conscious desires are penetrating the soil of your subconscious mind, taking root there and beginning to grow into tangible experiences. The feeling of your wish fulfilled is the secret bridge between the conscious and subconscious minds. When you can genuinely feel as though your desire is already a fact, that feeling impresses the subconscious, and the subconscious then works tirelessly to bring about the conditions necessary for the manifestation of that feeling. Now you might ask, but Carl Jung, how do I genuinely feel that my desire is fulfilled when my senses tell me otherwise? This is indeed the crux of the matter. The answer lies in your wonderful human imagination. Your imagination is not a fantasy-producing faculty meant to help you escape reality. Rather, it is the very creative power of God operating within you. When you close your eyes and imagine a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire, and then infuse that scene with feeling, with the emotion of having what you desire, you are exercising your divine creative power. You are in that moment, living from the end. You are experiencing what I call the fourth dimensional self, the self that transcends time and space, the self for whom all things are possible. Let me give you a practical example. Suppose you desire financial abundance, but your current reality shows limitation. Most people make the mistake of focusing on the absence of money, which only perpetuates that state. Instead, you must construct a scene in your imagination that implies you already have financial abundance. Perhaps you imagine checking your bank account and seeing a substantial balance. Or perhaps you imagine telling a friend about your newfound prosperity. Whatever scene you choose, it must imply that your desire is already fulfilled. Then as you fall asleep at night, replay this scene in your imagination. Feel the joy, the relief, the satisfaction that would be yours if this were already your reality. Fall asleep in this state, allowing it to be the last impression on your consciousness before sleep. Do this consistently, and you will be amazed at how quickly your outer world begins to rearrange itself to match your inner assumption. This practice is what I call living in the end. It is the art of mentally occupying the state of your wish fulfilled until it becomes your physical reality. And the reason it is finally happening for you is that you are now ready to practice this art with conviction and persistence. You see, manifestation is not about forcing or willing things into existence. It is about aligning your consciousness with the reality you wish to experience. Once this alignment is achieved, manifestation becomes effortless. This is what Jesus meant when he said, "It is done unto you as you believe." Your belief, your deep subconscious conviction, is the mold into which your experience pours itself. Now, let me address another crucial aspect of why manifestation may have seemed delayed for you in the past. Many of you have been caught in what I call the conflict of desires. You desire one thing consciously while subconsciously desiring its opposite. For instance, you may consciously desire wealth while subconsciously believing that money is the root of all evil, or that wealthy people are somehow morally corrupt. Such conflicting desires create a state of divided consciousness, and a house divided against itself cannot stand. The message I bring you tonight is that you are now ready to resolve these inner conflicts. You are prepared to bring your entire being, conscious and subconscious, into harmony with your desires. And when this harmony is achieved, manifestation becomes not only possible, but inevitable. Another reason why it's finally happening for you is that you are beginning to understand the true meaning of detachment. Many spiritual teachings emphasize the importance of detachment, but few explain it correctly. Detachment does not mean being indifferent to your desires. Rather, it means detaching from the current reality that contradicts your desire and attaching yourself fully to the reality you wish to experience. When you live in the awareness that your desire is already fulfilled, you naturally detach from the appearance of its absence. This is true detachment, not a rejection of desire, but a transcendence of the conditions that seem to deny its fulfillment. Let me share another principle that explains why manifestation is accelerating for you. Now, I call it the principle of revision. The past, as you perceive it, is simply memory. And memory, like imagination, is a form of thought. Just as you can imagine a different future, you can also imagine or revise a different past. When you revise your past experiences in imagination, infusing them with new meaning and positive outcomes, and you alter the effect they have on your present and future, this is not mere psychological comfort. It is a metaphysical process that changes the trajectory of your life. For instance, If you have a memory of failure or rejection that continues to influence your self-concept, you can revise that memory. See it differently in your imagination. Experience it with a positive outcome. Feel the satisfaction and joy of success where once there was failure. Do this repeatedly, and you will find that the revised version begins to feel more real than the original memory. When this happens, your present circumstances will reflect this new self-concept. This power of revision is now becoming active in your consciousness, explaining why things are finally happening for you. You are unconsciously revising your self-concept, your beliefs about what is possible, and your interpretations of past experiences. This revision is creating a new template for your reality. Now, let me speak to you about something even more profound, the true identity of the being you call I. In your daily experience, you say, I am countless times, I am tired, I am happy, I am wealthy, I am struggling. Each of these statements is a claim about your identity, and each shapes your reality in profound ways. The great secret I wish to impart to you tonight is that the I in these statements is not a limited human personality, but God himself. When Moses asked God for his name, the response was, I am that I am. This is not a name in the conventional sense, but a declaration of pure existence, pure beingness, and this pure beingness is the core of your identity. When you say I am, you are invoking the created power of the universe. You are declaring as fact whatever follows those two magical words. And the universe, which is nothing more than your expanded self, must conform to these declarations. This is why Jesus said, I and my Father are one. He recognized that the I within him was identical to the created principle of the universe. You too are beginning to sense this truth, which is why manifestation is accelerating in your life. As you claim your divine identity, as you recognize that the I within you is the same I that spoke the universe into existence, you naturally step into your created power. You cease to be a victim of circumstances and become the author of your experience. This recognition of your true identity leads to what I call the state of Sabbath. In biblical terms, the Sabbath represents not a day of the week, but a state of consciousness, a state of complete rest from effort and struggle. When you truly understand that you are one with the creative power of the universe, you cease striving and enter into rest. From this state of rest, creation unfolds effortlessly. This is why Jesus performed his healings on the Sabbath, symbolizing that true creation occurs not through effort, but through the assumption of the wish fulfilled. And this state of Sabbath, this realization that you need not struggle to create your reality, but simply assume the consciousness of what you desire, is dawning on you now. This is why it's finally happening for you. Now, some of you may be wondering, if consciousness is the only reality, why do my manifestations seem to take time? Why doesn't my desire appear instantly when I assume the feeling of its fulfillment? This is an excellent question, and the answer lies in what I call the law of gestation. Just as a seed planted in the ground requires time to germinate and grow into a plant, so too does the seed of your desire planted in the soil of your subconscious mind require time to externalize in your three-dimensional reality. This period between the inner assumption and the outer manifestation is not a waiting period, but a bridge of incidents, a series of events that must occur to bring about the conditions necessary for your desire to appear. During this bridge of incidents, it is crucial that you maintain your assumption. Do not be swayed by appearances that seem to contradict your desire. Remember, the outer world is always a reflection of past states of consciousness. What you are experiencing now is the result of past assumptions. Your current assumption, maintained faithfully, will produce its corresponding reality in due course. This is not to say that manifestation always requires a long period of gestation. Some desires manifest almost instantly, while others may take weeks, months, or even years. The timing depends on various factors, including the nature of the desire, the degree of conviction with which you hold your assumption, and the number of beliefs that must be reorganized in your consciousness to accommodate the new reality. But here's the wonderful news. Regardless of how long the bridge of incidents may be, your desire is assured if you maintain your assumption. This is the law, and the law is infallible. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, is not a poetic metaphor, but a precise description of the mechanism of creation. Another reason why manifestation is accelerating for you now is that you are beginning to understand the role of gratitude in the creative process. Gratitude is not merely a pleasant emotion, it is a creative force. When you feel grateful for something, you are acknowledging its presence in your life, and what you acknowledge as present must become present. Many of you have been practicing gratitude by giving thanks for what you already have. This is wonderful, but there is an even more powerful form of gratitude, giving thanks for what you desire as if you already had it. This is what Jesus demonstrated when he stood before the tomb of Lazarus and said, "Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me before Lazarus had risen." By giving thanks in advance, you are affirming your faith in the law. You are declaring that what you desire is already yours in the fourth-dimensional reality and must therefore materialize in your three-dimensional experience. This attitude of gratitude before the physical manifestation is a profound acknowledgement of the truth that all creation is finished, and your task is simply to appropriate what already exists through the assumption of the feeling of the wish fulfilled. As you integrate this understanding of gratitude into your consciousness, you will find that your manifestations occur with increasing speed and precision. This is another reason why it's finally happening for you. Now let me address an aspect of manifestation that is often misunderstood: the role of action. Many teachings emphasize the need for inspired action, suggesting that you must do something to bring about your desire. While action is indeed a part of the manifestation process, it is not the cause of manifestation, but rather an effect of your changed consciousness. When you have truly assumed the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you will naturally be moved to take whatever actions are necessary for the externalization of your desire. These actions will not feel forced or effortful. They will arise spontaneously from your new state of consciousness. This is what is meant by inspired action. Action that is inspired by your assumed state, not action taken to achieve that state. Many of you have been trying to act your way into a new reality, but the truth is that you must be your way into it. Being peruse is doing. When you change what you are being, when you assume a new state of consciousness, your actions will automatically align with that state. This understanding of the proper relationship between being and doing is now becoming clear to you, which is why manifestation is accelerating in your life. You are learning to focus on the assumption of the state, trusting that the appropriate actions will follow naturally. Let me share another principle that explains why it's finally happening for you. The principle of attention. Your attention is a concentrated form of your consciousness, and whatever you place your attention upon grows in your experience. As Jesus said, "Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." Your treasure is your attention, and whatever you consistently give your attention to becomes the dominant reality of your life. In the past, many of you have been giving attention to what you don't want rather than what you do want. You have been focusing on the absence of your desire, the obstacles to its fulfillment, or the evidence that it hasn't yet manifested. This misplaced attention has delayed the manifestation of your desires. But now, as you listen to this message, you are beginning to redirect your attention. You are learning to focus on the evidence of your desires' fulfillment, however small it may be. You are developing the discipline to turn away from contradictory appearances and keep your gaze fixed upon your assumed reality. This disciplined attention is a powerful force for manifestation, and it explains why things are finally shifting for you. Another aspect of consciousness that is awakening within you is what I call the sense of inevitability. When you truly understand the law of assumption, you develop a quiet confidence that your desire must manifest. There is no anxiety, no desperation, no pleading with the universe. There is simply the calm knowledge that what you have assumed in consciousness is already a fact in the fourth-dimensional reality and must therefore externalize in your three-dimensional experience. This sense of inevitability is the mark of mastery and manifestation. It is the state described in scriptures of peace of God, which passes all understanding. It is the absolute conviction that your desire is already yours, requiring no effort or struggle to attain, as this sense of inevitability takes root in your consciousness. Why? Our manifestations will occur with increasing ease and speed. Now that we address another factor that explains why manifestation is accelerating for you, the emotional state that would result from your desire's fulfillment, and then deliberately inducing that state within yourself, you create a powerful force for manifestation. As you master this law of reversibility, assuming the feeling that would be yours if your desire were already fulfilled, you create an irresistible momentum toward the externalization of that feeling in your physical reality. This mastery explains why manifestation is now accelerating in your life. Now, my dear friends, let me address something that is particularly relevant to those of you who have been studying spiritual principles for some time. Many of you have accumulated a vast amount of knowledge about manifestation, having read countless books, attended numerous seminars, and followed various teachers. Yet, despite this knowledge, your manifestations have seemed inconsistent or delayed. The reason for this apparent contradiction is that knowledge alone is not sufficient for manifestation. It is the application of knowledge, the living from the assumption of your wish fulfilled, that produces results. As Scripture says, faith without works is dead. In this context, works does not refer to physical action, but to the mental and emotional work of assuming the state of consciousness that corresponds to your desire. What is happening for you now is that you are moving from intellectual understanding to experiential knowing. You are translating theory into practice, concept into conviction, and it is this shift from knowing about the law to living by the law that explained manualization is finally facing in your experience. Let me also speak to you about the role of patience in the manifestation process. Patience in this context does not mean passive waiting, but rather maintaining your assumption regardless of the time it takes for physical manifestation to occur. It is the quiet confidence that what is done in consciousness must externalize an experience, even if the bridge of incidents extends longer than anticipated. Many of you have abandoned your assumptions prematurely, concluding that the law doesn't work simply because manifestation did not occur within your expected time frame. But now, as your understanding deepens, you are developing the patience to maintain your assumption through the entire bridge of incidents, however long it may be. This patient persistence explains why your desires are finally manifesting. Another factor that is accelerating manifestation in your life is what I call the pruning of limiting beliefs. Just as a gardener prunes a tree to enhance its growth and fruit-bearing capacity, so too must you prune the limiting beliefs that restrict the expression of your desires. These limiting beliefs are not always obvious. They often operate below the threshold of conscious awareness. They are the subtle assumptions you hold about yourself, others, and the nature of reality that contradict your conscious desires. For instance, you may consciously desire wealth while subconsciously believing that you are unworthy of abundance, or that wealth requires painful sacrifice. What is happening for you now is that these limiting beliefs are being brought to the surface of your consciousness, where they can be examined and released. This process of becoming aware of your limiting beliefs, questioning their validity, and replacing them with empowering assumptions is dramatically accelerating your manifestation abilities. Now, let me share with you another principle that explains why manifestation is accelerating in your life. The principle of identifying with your desire. Most people relate to their desires as something separate from themselves, something they hope to attain or achieve in the future. But the truth is that your desire is not separate from you. It is an extension of you, a facet of your being seeking expression. When you understand this, you cease to pursue your desire, something external, and to identify with it as an aspect of yourself. This shift in perspective from seeking to being is transformative. It removes a sense of distance between you and your desire, collapsing the time and space that seem to separate you from its fulfillment. This identification with your desire is becoming more natural for you now, which explains why manifestation is accelerating in your experience. You are learning to say, "I am that which I desire to be," rather than "I hope to become that in the future." Let me also address the role of forgiveness in the manifestation process. Forgiveness is not merely a moral virtue, it is a practical necessity for effective manifestation. When you hold grievances against others or yourself, you are fixing your consciousness in the state of being wronged or being wronged. This fixation creates a mental and emotional environment that is inhospitable to the fulfillment of your desires. By practicing genuine forgiveness, releasing all resentment, judgment, and condemnation, you free your consciousness to assume the state of your wish fulfilled. This liberation of consciousness from past hurts and disappointments creates an open and receptive mental environment where your desires can take root and flourish. The practice of forgiveness is becoming more consistent in your life, explaining why manifestation is accelerating for you. You are learning to release the past completely, to wash your consciousness clean of all bitterness and regret, making room for the expression of your desires. Now, my dear friends, let me speak to you about something that is particularly relevant to those of you who have experienced repeated disappointments in your manifestation journey. Many of you have tried various techniques, followed different teachings, and made sincere efforts to apply the law of assumption, yet the results have seemed inconsistent or insufficient. What you must understand is that manifestation is not a matter of technique, but of state. It is not what you do, but what you are, that determines your experience. The various manifestation techniques, visualization, affirmation, acting as if, are valuable only to the extent that they help you feel the ceiling of your wish fulfilled. If they do not accomplish this, they are of little use. What is happening for you now is that you are shifting your focus from technique to state. You are becoming less concerned with doing the right things and more concerned with being in the right state of consciousness. This shift from doing to being explains why manifestation is finally accelerating in your life. Let me also speak to you about the concept of divine timing. Many spiritual teachings suggest that there is a perfect divine for the manifestation of your desires, implying that you must wait for God's timing. While there is truth in this, it is often misunderstood. Divine timing is not an arbitrary schedule imposed by an external deity. Rather, it is the perfect unfoldment of events that must occur to bridge the gap between your current state and the state of your wish fulfilled. This timing is determined not by some cosmic calendar, but by the state of your consciousness. As your consciousness becomes more aligned with the feeling of your wish fulfilled, as your conviction deepens and your contradictory thoughts diminish, the bridge of incidents shortens and manifestation accelerates. This is what is happening for you now. Your consciousness is aligning more consistently with your desires, shortening the bridge of incidents and accelerating the manifestation process. Now, my dear friends, let me share with you a principle that I consider to be the ultimate secret of manifestation, the recognition that there is only God. This may sound abstract or theological, but it is intensely practical. When you truly understand that there is only God, that all of creation is an expression of the one divine consciousness, you realize that them into being. The rarest woman knows the power of silence, the strength found in stillness. She does not chase after things or people. She understands that what is truly hers cannot be lost. She radiates an energy of certainty that draws everything she needs to her like a magnet. Her presence is a reflection of her inner state of peaceful confidence that nothing can shake. She does not measure her value by the standards of the world. She knows that her worth is infinite because it comes from within. Her identity is rooted in a profound understanding of her divine connection. She is one with the Creator, and this knowledge fuels her every step. Her thoughts are her treasures, her imagination her canvas, and her faith her guiding light. This woman has mastered the art of living in the end. She does not worry about the how or the when. She lives as though all her prayers have already been answered. Her gratitude is boundless, her joy contagious. She walks through life with the grace of someone who knows she is supported by unseen forces, aligned with a higher purpose that ensures her success. She is rare because she does not compete or compare. She celebrates the victories of others knowing they do not diminish her own. Her abundance mindset allows her to give freely and love deeply. She does not fear rejection, for she knows that what is meant for her will never pass her by. Her life is a testament to the truth that faith and vision can move mountains. The rarest woman in the world does not merely survive. She thrives, she creates, she inspires, and she transforms. She understands that the world around her is a reflection of the world within her, and so she tends to her inner garden with care. She cultivates thoughts of beauty, peace, and abundance, knowing that these will bloom into her reality. This woman is not rare because of what she has or what she but because of who she is. She is a living example of what is possible when a person aligns their thoughts, feelings, and actions with their highest vision. She embodies a truth that is universal, yet elusive, that we are all creators of our destiny, capable of manifesting a life that is extraordinary. The rarest woman in the world moves with an air of quiet confidence that transcends the ordinary. She does not shout her worth to be heard. Her very existence speaks volumes. In a world that clamors for attention, she stands apart, not because she strives to be different, but because she dares to be authentically herself. Her uniqueness is not something she flaunts. It is the essence of her being, a light that cannot be dimmed or hidden. She understands that the power of her individuality is her greatest asset, and she carries it with grace and humility. Her mind is a sanctuary, a place where she cultivates thoughts of beauty, strength, and resilience. She knows that her reality is not dictated by the external world, but by the images she holds in her heart and the beliefs she entertains in her soul. She is unshaken by circumstances because she sees beyond them. Where others see obstacles, she sees opportunities. Where others see endings, she envisions new beginnings. This woman is rare because she does not conform to the limitations imposed by society. She has no need to fit into a mold or adhere to expectations that do not align with her truth. Instead, she creates her path guided by an inner compass that points unfailingly toward her highest good. She trusts the whispers of her intuition and follows them with unwavering faith, knowing that they lead her to a destiny that is uniquely hers. Her power lies in her ability to embody what she desires. She does not wait for the world to grant her permission to be happy, successful, or loved. She claims these things as her birthright and lives as though they are already hers. Her joy is not contingent on external validation, and her peace is not dependent on external conditions. She carries within her a sense of fulfillment that no one and nothing can take away. The rarest woman in the world is a master of her emotions. She does not suppress them, nor does she allow them to control her. Instead, she channels them as a source of strength and creativity. She knows that her feelings are a powerful force, capable of shaping her reality in profound ways. When she feels joy, it radiates outward, touching everyone she encounters. When she feels love, it transforms everything it touches. And when she feels pain, she does not run from it. She faces it with courage, knowing that it holds the seeds of growth and wisdom. Her vision is her guiding star, a beacon that illuminates her path even in the darkest of times. She is not deterred by setbacks or delays, because she knows that everything unfolds in divine timing. Her faith is not passive, it is active and dynamic, a force that propels her forward even when the way seems uncertain. She walks by faith, not by sight, trusting that the unseen is more real than the seen, and that her dreams are already hers in the realm of spirit. This woman is rare because she understands the power of her imagination. She knows that the images she holds in her mind are not mere fantasies, but the blueprint of her future. She guards her thoughts with diligence, refusing to entertain anything that does not serve her highest good. Her mind is her sanctuary, a sacred space where she creates the life she desires with precision and care. She is an artist of the soul, painting her reality with the colors of her dreams and the brushstrokes of her beliefs. She does not resist the flow of life, but moves with it like a river that knows its course. She understands that resistance creates struggle, while surrender opens the door to miracles. Her surrender is not a sign of weakness, but of strength, a recognition that she is co-creating her reality with a higher power that knows no limits. She lets go of what she cannot control and focuses her energy on what she can, her thoughts, her feelings, and her actions. The rarest woman in the world is a beacon of light in a world that often feels dark. She does not shrink in the face of challenges, but rises to meet them with courage and grace. She knows that her struggles are not meant to break her, but to refine her, to shape her into the person she is destined to become. Her resilience is her superpower, a testament to her inner strength and her unwavering belief in her ability to overcome anything that comes her way. She is not afraid to stand alone because she knows that her worth is not determined by the company she keeps. She does not seek to be understood by everyone, for she knows that her path is not meant for everyone to walk. She values quality over quantity in her relationships, surrounding herself only with those who uplift and inspire her. Her circle may be small, but it is filled with love, respect, and mutual support. This woman is rare because she knows how to give without losing herself. She loves deeply and unconditionally, not because she seeks anything in return, but because love is her nature. Yet she also knows her boundaries and respects them, understanding that true giving comes from a place of abundance, not lack. She nurtures herself as much as she nurtures others, ensuring that her cup is always full before she pours into the lives of those around her. She is a woman of action, but her actions are guided by purpose and intention. She does not act out of fear or desperation, but from a place of clarity and confidence. She knows that every step she takes, no matter how small, brings her closer to her dreams. Her patience is her ally, her perseverance, her strength. She does not rush the process, but trusts it, knowing that everything she desires is already on its way to her. Her life is a symphony, a harmonious blend of faith, love, and purpose. She lives with an awareness that every moment is a gift, every experience and opportunity to grow. She does not dwell on the past or worry about the future, but remains fully present in the now, knowing that the present moment is where her power lies. The rarest woman in the world is a source of inspiration to all who meet her. She does not seek to impress, but to uplift. Her light is not something she hides or diminishes, but something she shares freely, knowing that it is meant to illuminate the path for others. She is a living example of what is possible when one dares to dream, to believe, and to act in alignment with their highest self. Her rarity is not something she wears as a badge of honor, but something she carries with quiet dignity. She knows that her value does not come from what she does, or what she has, but from who she is. She is a woman who has discovered her true essence, her divine nature, and she lives each day as a reflection of that truth. The rarest woman in the world is not a myth or a fantasy. She is a reality. She exists in every woman who dares to step into her power, to embrace her uniqueness, and to live in alignment with her highest vision. She is not confined by the limits of the world, but transcends them, creating a life that is as extraordinary as she is. She is a reminder to us all of the infinite potential that lies within, waiting to be awakened. The rarest woman in the world carries within her a quiet strength that speaks louder than words. She is not defined by the roles the world assigns her, but by the boundless essence of who she is. When others see chaos, she sees the unfolding of a divine plan. For her vision is not limited to what is apparent. She looks beyond appearances, knowing that true reality lies in the unseen forces that shape our lives. Her heart is aligned with these forces, and her faith acts as a bridge between the present and the fulfillment of her desires. She moves through life with a sense of purpose that is unshaken by external circumstances. There is a steadiness in her steps, a certainty in her demeanor that commands attention without demanding it. This is not a performance, but an authentic reflection of her inner world. Her mind is not cluttered with doubt or fear, for she has trained herself to dwell on what is good, pure, and uplifting. Her thoughts are her sanctuary, and she guards them with the diligence of someone who knows their power. This woman has learned the art of discernment. She understands that not everything deserves her energy, her time, or her focus. She does not chase after things that are not meant for her, nor does she allow herself to be consumed by distractions. Her life is a reflection of her priorities, and her choices are guided by her unwavering sense of purpose. She knows that her energy is sacred, and she invests it only in what aligns with her highest good. Her relationships are a testament to her values. She does not seek to control or manipulate others, but allows them the freedom to be themselves. She loves deeply, but her love is not possessive. It is liberating. She uplifts those around her by being a living example of authenticity and grace. Her presence is a gift, a reminder of what it means to live with intention and integrity. The rarest woman in the world is not afraid of solitude. She knows that her worth is not determined by the company she keeps, but by the love she has for herself. She cherishes her own presence and uses her time alone to nurture her soul and connect with the divine. Her solitude is not loneliness. It is a space where she finds clarity, inspiration, and renewal. She is a woman of balance, knowing when to act and when to rest, when to speak and when to listen, when to push forward and when to let go. She flows well in the rhythms of life, trusting that everything has its season. Her patience is not passive, but active, a deliberate choice to trust the process and allow things to unfold in their own time. She is not swayed by impatience or anxiety because she knows that what is meant for her will come to her without fail. Her intuition is her guiding star, and she follows it with unwavering faith. She does not need to see the entire path to take the first step. She trusts that the way will be revealed to her as she moves forward. Her life is a dance between surrender and action, a harmonious blend of trust and effort. She does not cling to outcomes but allows herself to be surprised by the infinite possibilities that life offers. This woman is rare because she understands the power of gratitude. She does not wait for things to be perfect to give thanks. She finds beauty and blessings in every moment. Her gratitude is not a ritual but a way of life, a recognition of the abundance that surrounds her. She knows that by focusing on what she has, she opens the door to receive even more. Her heart is a wellspring of appreciation, and her life reflects the overflow of her gratitude. She does not fear change, but embraces it as a natural part of life. She knows that growth often requires letting go of what no longer serves her. She does not cling to the past or resist the future, but remains fully present in the now. Her adaptability is not a sign of weakness, but of strength, a willingness to evolve and transform as life demands. She is not afraid to reinvent herself, for she knows that her essence remains unchanged no matter how much her outer circumstances shift. The rarest woman in the world is a creator in every sense of the word. She creates not only with her hands, but with her mind, her heart, and her spirit. She brings her visions to life through her thoughts, her words, and her actions. She does not wait for permission to create. She simply does. Her creativity is not limited to art or expression, but extends to every area of her life. She creates joy, peace, and abundance wherever she goes, leaving a trail of beauty in her wake. She is a woman of conviction, standing firm in her beliefs even when they are not popular. She does not waver in the face of criticism or doubt because her confidence comes from within. She does not seek approval or validation, but remains true to herself, knowing that her worth is not up for debate. Her courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to move forward despite it. She faces challenges with grace and determination, knowing that every obstacle is an opportunity for growth. This woman is rare because she understands the interconnectedness of all things. She does not see herself as separate from the world around her, but as a part of it. Her actions are guided by a sense of responsibility and compassion, a recognition that what she does affects not only herself but others. She is mindful of her impact and strives to make the world a better place through her choices. Her wisdom is not born of age or experience alone, but of her willingness to learn and grow. She is open to new ideas and perspectives, knowing that there is always more to discover. She does not cling to certainty, but embraces the mystery of life with curiosity and wonder. Her humility allows her to admit when she is wrong and to learn from her mistakes. She is not afraid to change her mind when presented with new truths, for she values growth over pride. The rarest woman in the world is a source of inspiration, not because she tries to be, but because she cannot help it. Her authenticity shines through in everything she does, and her presence uplifts those around her. She does not seek to be admired or envied, but to live in alignment with her truth. Her life is her message, a testament to the power of living with intention and integrity. Her strength is not loud or aggressive, but quiet and enduring. He does not need to prove her power because it is evident in the way she carries herself. She does not seek to dominate or control, but to uplift. And so, my dear friends, as we come to the close of this message, remember this: you are not a passive observer of life, but an active creator of it. Carl Jung taught us that what lies unconscious within us shapes our destiny, until we bring it into the light of awareness. Now you stand at the threshold of a new reality. Carry this wisdom with you beyond these words, into every thought, every decision, every action. Walk with confidence, knowing that the power to shape your life rests within you. Let this message be the spark that ignites lasting transformation. A transformation that not only changes your circumstances, but elevates your very state of being. The journey does not end here, it begins now. Go forth with courage, with clarity, and with the unshakable knowledge that you are the architect of your destiny.